Hello and welcome back to the Cine Club podcast. I'm Matthew.
I'm Dion.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Connell.
Today we're going to be talking about soundtracks in cinema, whether it's original scores or licensed music, something which we could talk about for hours and hours and hours. So to get things started, what's everyone's favourite soundtrack from a film and why?
Mine, I would choose Batman 1989.
Oh,
very
both
good choice.
Score and songs that are in it, because the songs are done by Prince.
who does the score? Prince is not.
Danny Elfman.
Danny
Elfman
yeah,
did the
Danny
score,
Elfman.
Prince did licensed
Legendary
music.
score.
He's got a pair of nutters.
I forgot about the Prince songs actually, because it was like the whole
Good song.
Bat
isn't it?
Dance.
Yeah,
thing
Party
was-
Man is
Party Man,
great.
Trust.
Yeah.
Trust.
The
Bat
other one?
Dance.
Bat Dance.
the other
The
one, you know, the one
two
that's
good
actually
ones.
The one that
related to
most
Batman.
people know, which is Bat Dance, because he's going, get the funk up.
Oh, I hate Bad Dance.
I
Yeah,
remember-
Party Man and Trust.
Party Man's the best.
I remember when I was introduced to that because my sister had like a big CD of like other songs, like covers, but there was Bat Dance by Prince, and it was on there. I didn't know where it was from until like about a few years ago when I finally rewatched Batman 1989.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the Batman Forever's got the soundtrack though.
Oh, that's a good show, you know.
Batman Forever.
Sealand,
yeah.
I think, also, Batman
God, yeah.
Forever, with the soundtrack. I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion. I think the U2 song's better than Seal's
Is that
song.
Hold Me, Kiss Me,
Ooh.
Thrill Me, Kiss
Yeah, that
Me?
one.
Yeah, that one.
Nah.
I like it.
It's a tune, yeah. The whole, I mean, it is a great soundtrack though. It's
good,
one of
man.
them ones where it's like it's like a fully loaded CD album that doesn't really have anything to do with
Yeah.
the film. Like, there's just loads of really good songs on it, but like,
Yeah.
it's like a lot of them, like Mortal Kombat, and there's just quite a few films of that sort of style. I mean, I was gonna get into this at some point, but I mean, I love 90s films that have a rap song. You know, like when you're watching a 90s film,
Yeah.
get to the credits, and then the rap theme tune kicks
Yeah.
in. It's like the cheesiest thing you've ever heard, but like Men in Black, the first
what a
Ninja
tune.
Turtles
Yeah.
film had that.
They do it
that
in Ghostbusters too, don't they? There's
yeah,
a Ghostbusters.
there you
Yeah.
go. Ghostbusters 2.
So it was Bobby
uh,
Brown who did that.
Oh, yeah, Bobby Brown.
Bobby
and then
Brown.
There's also,
Then there's also
another
the,
one, isn't there?
Oh my god,
Isn't that by Run DMC?
Run DMC version of Ghostbusters.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
that one.
One of the SpongeBob films and with the rap for some reason.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the Godzilla film as well. You know, with
the 2001 one.
Puff Daddy
Yeah.
and
Oh, 2000.
Jimmy Page or whatever. The,
What?
Like, there was
What?
like,
Wait,
that
Puff
was-
Daddy, isn't that?
Puff Daddy the rapper, and
Isn't that?
That's Diddy.
That's Diddy.
is it?
Yeah.
Is it actually? I did not know
Two-
they were the same person.
Two wrong ones in one
Ah,
song.
well, there you go.
That's
Anyway, the
ridiculous.
two of them collaborated in the most bizarre combo ever to make a song for the Godzilla film.
I think.
And Spawn.
wild.
How could you forget about
Oh,
Spawn? the
Marilyn
album?
Manson.
Marilyn Manson. You get
Oh, another wrong one.
Yeah.
another
Another
wrong'un.
wrong'un.
Two non-wrong'uns though. You get Kirk Hammett from Metallica
Good.
playing on Orbital Satan, which is like a really,
weird.
really bizarre mix, but really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean. It's just 90s stuff. I just love those
Yeah.
like soundtrack albums that were just very much sold as like, buy the CD now that you've seen the film. Check it out. It's
So have you not got like a favourite one? Or do you?
like a favorite out of all
Like
of those.
a favourite soundtrack? If you had to pick one to come to mind, what film soundtrack would you?
Film soundtrack.
So say you can only listen to this one and never any other one. Which
Tron
one?
Legacy.
Tron
I think
Legacy.
probably.
I
I know Dion's
I
going to
think
say
me and Billy-
that.
Me and
but-
Billy were saying in the car, we thought you were going to mention Tron Legacy.
Oh, without question.
Just
I mean, it's
sense
like, because for one thing, I mean, it's a really good score in itself to the film. Like, it fits the film really well. But it's also just like a really good Daft Punk album.
Yeah.
Like, you can just listen to it on its own, and it's got some, you know, they're not all like radio worthy bangers or anything.
Okay.
But even when it's trying to be atmospheric, it's just quite cool hearing like Daft Punk style music played with like an orchestra, and it's
Yeah,
like
that's quite cool.
it's a really good combo. And I mean, you know, it's the whole film is about going into an electronic grid where it's like this world where everything's all
Yeah.
computers and arcade games. The music sounds
Who better
just
to
like
get than
how
Daft
you'd
Punk?
picture it.
You
Yeah.
hold that hope that they might come back with a new one.
Well, they're not, because they're getting 9 Inch Nails for the new one, which I think's pretty cool as
Oh,
well,
nice.
to be honest. Because I mean, 9 Inch Nails, you know, the band
Yeah.
haven't really done scores, but Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who are from 9 Inch Nails, have done loads of film scores.
cool. That's
So
cool.
like they did like a load of David Fincher scores and Challengers.
Did they not
and
do 7? Or there
No,
was
it
a
is
song.
Social
there was a
Network.
song
Social
that
Network.
they but they did
It's open, isn't it?
they did do a song that was in 7.
Yeah.
Social Network's the most
Social
famous
Network
one.
they did for that. They did. Oh, they've done all sorts. Anyway, point
Yeah.
is, I think that's a natural progression, because that's
Okay.
another band that I quite like, that have that sort of like electronic influence. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, Tron Legacy. Score wise, it would be Tron Legacy. Soundtrack, like as in songs that are just playing. I think Transformers, the 1986. That's another one where it's like just a great album overall, but like
album.
you know, that's a good combo of the sort of Vince DiCola, like synthy music that fits the whole robots and computers, but then you get like 80s hair metal, you know,
as well.
Stan Bush just like absolutely singing his heart out, like
Weird
getting
Al.
really into it, and it's so good.
Weird Al like was in the album, wasn't he?
What's that?
Was
Sorry,
he? Weird Al.
yeah, he
Weird
was
Al,
Dead to Be
yeah.
Stupid
Okay.
when they meet the Eric Idle robots, which I can't remember what they're called. They go to the planet where everything's made of rubbish, and they're like junkions or something like that. Anyway, it's a good film. But yeah, Weird Al is on that soundtrack. Don't know. Go on, you guys.
You got one, Dion?
Well, Jake's took my pick, but I got another one. I think Spider-Verse. Like, I think Into Spider-Verse probably. It's hard because I would argue Across has the best score,
Yeah,
but Into has the best songs.
Yeah.
I agree with
The
that.
Across,
I think yeah, that's a very good example of like one that's quite recent but still very, very culturally like resonant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when those films came out, especially Across, I mean, the amount of times you heard them.
Oh, yeah.
Like that sort of-
It's so hard because
You're
like,
in
it's,
I had that as my
Nightmares.
notification sound for a good long
it's
time.
such a,
Yeah.
I would argue that like such a generic pick, but think about it more, it's such like a big like soundtrack. It's probably because
It is like
I think
yeah.
Daniel Pemberton re-released the some of the score recently,
Mhm.
and there's like 2 new tracks or 3, and like it's still good.
It's really
it's
good.
Still,
It's like it's really heroic music. I
Yeah.
think it fits that kind of optimistic-y but still emotionally weighted Spider-Man stuff. And I mean, Into the Spider-Verse is like one of the greatest music on film sequences ever with that "What's Up Danger" bit. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the
it's
way they
really
edit
good.
that to the song, it's like, I mean, like I was literally like goosebumps in the
I
cinema.
might,
It was so
I might. This might be
good.
a hot take, but I think the train sequence is the best scene in Spider-Man films of all time.
Which one?
Spider-Verse The bit where he's on the train and he's like fighting 2099 and stuff towards the
Oh
end.
god, yeah, and across
That
the Spider-Verse.
soundtrack just elevates that scene for me.
Yeah, true. That is another really good one. It's just like good action music. Like I think it fits with what's going on screen, but it's also quite good out of context as well. So,
Yeah.
which is usually the test.
I would say recently, I don't have a definitive one because it's going to change every 10 minutes. I still am into it. When A Complete Unknown came out, I really loved the soundtrack for that.
Yeah,
Because obviously he's learned, Timothy Chalamet, he's learned how to play the guitar and the harmonica. And there's a song in it, it's near the start. It was I Was Young When I Left Home. And the harmonica bit in that is really good.
yeah,
But I think we were saying when we went to see it, Jake, it's the bit where it's leading up to the end of the film.
yes,
And he's at the festival, and then he plays like 3 songs in a row, and it's really cool. The
Yeah,
songs
yeah.
are really good in that. So I think Complete Unknown is one of my favourites at the minute. I don't know what. We had the Blues Brothers.
Oh, there
I
you
mentioned
go.
that as well.
That's
I was
another
going
one.
to mention it on the
That's something
musical.
I'm yet to watch.
That's another one
I
you
saw
would
like a bit
really
of
You'd
it.
love
like.
the Blues Brothers.
You'd love the
Might
Blues
give it a
You
Brothers.
get to
watch
see
right tonight.
John Belushi doing cartwheels through the church.
Yeah.
And James Brown's going like, yeah.
All right, that's already convinced me.
It's mental, and then it's the fact that it manages to combine like it's a really good musical, and it also has like possibly the greatest action scene ever.
Yeah.
when the
Supposedly
police
before-
chase at the
Like
end.
40
Oh my
police
God.
cars chasing him.
It was like the most expensive
Yeah.
stunt show they'd basically ever done on
Yeah.
film at that point.
And then Carrie
Wow.
Fisher's an assassin.
That's right.
Bloody
yeah.
hell, really?
Carrie Fisher's
Yeah.
like, is she? Oh, I can never remember which is which, but the John Belushi one. It's like the ex-boyfriend.
Jake
Oh my
Blues.
God.
Jake Blues.
Is it
That's
called
the
Jake
one.
Blues, man?
Jake and Elwood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking out, would you?
Yeah, but that's got a great soundtrack too.
That's a
And it's the
good
fact
one.
that John Belushi can actually sing.
Yeah,
blows my mind.
They're all because they were like, I think they were an actual band, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were
Blues
a
Brothers,
band.
like-
They were a band on SNL, and then
Yeah.
they got so popular in a movie. And I believe when the sequel was coming out, they wanted to get John Goodman in because John Goodman was such a
'cause
big fan.
John Belushi
Yeah.
died, hadn't he? So they
Yeah.
got John
Yes.
No, it
Goodman.
was even before John Belushi died. They wanted
Oh, was
John
it, yeah?
Goodman to be involved in
No,
the
I didn't
sequel.
know that.
Really?
Bloody hell.
It is weird how good the band is and
Yeah.
the Blues
It
Brothers.
is though, isn't it? Because it's like I think that I mean I can't remember. I'm sure I saw somewhere they did used to like tour like the cast
Yeah.
of that
Yeah.
film as like just a
That is
band that you
really
could
cool.
go see live. And but it's because it's like quite a lot of other actual artists as well. I mean, it's Aretha Franklin and his.
Oh, she might have my favourite song in that
That's
film.
exactly like
Franklin.
that. Whole bit is really good, and it's like
in the cafe.
Yeah, in the cafe. Like, it's just a really good showcase of all the sort of talents of the time, and it's like a sort of Motown film with like, while still, it's such a bizarre thing that I'm just trying to wrap it up and like think of how you could describe it, but it's like
you can. It's just too
you can't really.
There's too many stuff going on. I think like what, like they have to save like
they're trying to save their church, aren't they?
Church,
and then they try to escape Carrie Fisher, the mercenary.
Yeah, and then they have evil. They have Nazis literally involved in the plot.
Oh yeah,
they're also like wanted by the police because they're criminals as well.
They're wanted by like
That
4
sounds
different
mental.
groups. They've got like the sheriff's after them.
That's right.
John Candy's after them. He's running like the this Confederate group of cowboys.
Yeah.
The Nazi. They drive over a bridge and they try to run over Nazis. This is the best film ever made.
It's really good. Yeah,
It just said John Candy's after them. It's just like, he's just after anyone in every film that he's in.
Yeah.
It's like Uncle Buck plays Trains and Automobiles and flipping Home Alone.
Yeah. Well, it's like that. It's like that sort of gang of like actors and directors where they all sort of knew each other and just kept appearing like without much convincing.
Yeah, he was the poker guy.
Yeah, he's in Home Alone.
He's also in Spaceballs.
King of the Midwest.
Yeah.
Connell's also in Spaceballs, which is
Spaceballs in Spaceballs.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, he's the dog, isn't he?
Yeah.
right. So this is actually very much. I feel like this was going to be very difficult for me. But which do we prefer, original score or, well, licensed music? Which honestly, you could say licensed albums more than licensed music.
I think original score.
Good God.
It's tricky, isn't it? Though,
I
because
mean,
I think
it's for different films, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it
So
entirely
say,
depends.
Some are hybrids.
Yeah, say the
Purple
Guardians of the
Rain.
Galaxy films.
That's a good shout.
Excuse me.
yeah,
But Purple
actually.
Rain's just all licensed songs. I don't think it would be a score because you could argue that the licensed songs are a score.
Well, it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's a hybrid sort of thing.
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah.
but except for like the Times music,
Yeah.
because they weren't put on that, even though I
That's
still
a
love
good
them.
point,
I've
actually.
been listening to Jungle Love recently. It's so
Because
good.
then you got that whole other thing where it's like films where the soundtrack is like more famous than the film itself.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Purple Rain, a lot of people think of the album first, but
Yeah.
the album itself is music from the film Purple Rain, which is like A Hard Day's Night, and there's quite a lot of albums like that where the actual music's like outlived the legacy of the film itself.
I
But
suppose it's like I would say that applies to like Back to the Future.
Yeah.
When you think
Yeah.
of Back to the Future, the first thing that comes to my mind is the Power of Love.
Power of Love,
You
yeah.
know, not that I'm not gonna lie. I reckon if you got me to explain the plot of Back to the Future, I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it.
I
I
think
know he goes
Yeah.
back in
Yeah.
time. That's it. I haven't seen it in
Well,
years. But I
That's
know
the
the
other
song.
song. So
You know, 'cause the songs are that
I think I
iconic.
know what you mean. Yeah, where it's like, and that's the thing with Power of Love. It's so synonymous with the film, but it actually has nothing to do with the
Yeah.
film. It was just a Huey Lewis single
Yeah.
that they sort of threw onto the album. Unlike Back in Time,
yeah, Back in
which
Time is
is
definitely
like
made for the film.
that's made
Right.
for the
Yeah.
film. That's like that should have like sort of been the theme.
Arguably better, I would say.
Arguably better.
Yeah.
I'm torn. I think I'm
Oh, I
quite.
don't know.
I'm on. Yeah, I think I like both of them equally, but I do love both of them. so.
I think, in my opinion, score. I think for me, score is like, I think while I do like licensed albums like Mortal Kombat 1995, yes, I'm going to mention that.
Yeah, no, that's fair because I was gonna get around to that at some
But
point.
I think for me, it definitely just feels like licensed score has like been more thing for me because I'm a big fan of Hans Zimmer. I'm a big fan of like John Powell. I think another one's a good one, like
John Williams.
John
we haven't
Williams,
mentioned.
yeah.
I mean that. I was gonna say that. I feel like
Howard Shaw.
Howard Shaw's a good one. Yeah, actually, there's. I mean, that's the thing, though, isn't it? There's like quite a lot where I think sometimes even when the score sounds almost like it could have been off an album.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, John Carpenter films have his score, but it's like even that's not like a traditional orchestral score. I think it's like
Yeah.
something different, but. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think John Williams films quite a lot. I couldn't imagine you like just putting cheap licensed music in place of quite a lot of that. Like,
What would it be? Like Star Wars? Like they would have like disco music?
it'd be crap, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? It's like
Robot
there's so-
Chicken already did
Imagine
that.
that.
Robot Chicken's already done that.
And then all you hear is
That's what music vibes. And over gets cut down.
It's like the
Lady
scene.
Marmalade's play because that's all blows up in the cinema. Standing ovation.
Marmalade, my friend, marmalade.
Oh, don't tell this Marmalade again. Were you here last week?
Marmalade.
On the
'Cause it
musical
is, that's how it's pronounced.
on the musical episode, he called Lady Marmalade Lady Marmalade.
Because it's how it's sung in the song.
Lady Marmalade.
Yeah.
Does
That's
it
what
like
they say.
just in the song though? You don't like say, "Can I have a marmalade sandwich?"
You can say the song as no.
Right.
No,
That's
I meant just as the
That's the main
song.
thing I want
They
to
don't even
check.
say it in the song. What are you talking
They
about?
do say it in the song.
No, they don't.
They do.
Oh, we're gonna have a
They
fight.
do. They
Right.
do. Put in the comments, right, and
Yeah.
tell me that I'm right or wrong. Okay.
Marmalade.
Or
But either way,
sandwich.
I swear I've been taught to say marmalade when singing that song.
You've been
Anyway,
taught by the Lady Marmalade.
Anyway,
But
or marmalade, depending on where you're from.
yeah, I mean, it entirely depends. And on that note, how do we think soundtracks fit the atmosphere of its film? And are there any examples where this is not the case?
Very smooth.
Very smooth. I know. Look at me go.
The Elvis, the Elvis song
Yeah,
that came out.
Elvis.
Or
They
the
got
ba-
rap. They got rap music.
or the Baz Luhrman.
Doja
Have you
Cat,
seen the
isn't
Elvis
it?
film?
It's something
Yeah.
like that.
Well, there's a bit in Elvis when he's like, he's having like a bit of a breakdown because he's like, "Oh, mama, I'm too famous, mama," and he drives. That was a good impression there. And he's like driving down the street, and yeah, like Jake said, Doja Cat starts playing, which is
Why?
really
It
weird.
is really weird. I think it's because Baz Luhrmann and he just likes to do that. But
he did it with Romeo and Juliet.
I was literally just about to say the Romeo and Juliet film's another example, but then again,
Romeo and Juliet fits.
Oh yeah, that's got.
But with-
Oh, who's in?
Yeah.
Is that the Cardigans?
it's something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Romeo and Juliet's one of them ones where everything about it, nothing goes together to the point where it kind of creates something new that you
does
don't
work,
even.
I think.
It works, yeah. I think because
It really
it's
works.
such a clash of everything all at once. It kind of all just like becomes a thing where it's like its own style, like, and it does work with it.
What about you know the Robin Hood film with like Alan Rickman in?
Which one is it?
Oh my god!
Like, was it Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves?
Is
or
this the
something
one
like
with
that?
the
Was it
Costner
Brian
in that?
Adams?
Brian Adams
Yeah,
song? Yeah,
that
that
theme.
that wouldn't leave the charts for
Yeah,
like ages.
like-
was
which
that
song
in,
was it?
I can't remember, but I'm thinking, you know, For Weddings and a Funeral, the Wet
Wet, Wet,
song
Wet.
that was
Yeah.
literally in the charts for like the entire year,
It's
and
such a
everybody
good
was
song,
sick of
though.
it. It's a great song, but you could say, I mean, you know those. I don't know if anybody watches BBC4 when they put the like Top of the Pops
Yeah,
reruns
Oh,
on.
sometimes, yeah,
But they
yeah.
put them on, and there was like a chunk of time where they kept having like the 1994 ones. It was every week it was that song. I was like, oh, I'm so sick of it, and I'm like, I'm not even living through it. It's like it was just everywhere. It is a great song.
You know what
but-
it reminds me
yeah.
of though? Do you remember Hobbit 2 where Ed Sheeran had a song at the end of the credits?
Oh
You're
yeah,
making
I
it
See
up.
Fire.
Really?
No, you
In
did,
The
yeah.
Hobbit 2, Ed Sheeran
Yeah.
has a song.
Yep,
Yeah.
I See Fire.
Wow.
Wow.
And
See,
it was so bad they had to bring back, I think, Mary Poppins actor to sing a song for free.
I thought I was going to say Mary Poppins. I was thinking, what?
Mary Poppins.
Mary
He's only just heard that.
The end of
I'm
the
sorry.
Hobbit.
I'm sorry,
You
Mary.
forget.
It was Billy Boyd, I think.
Billy
that brought
Boyd, yeah, they
back
brought
for the
back
last
to the
goodbye.
song.
There was a time where Ed Sheeran was in every film, though.
He was in
He
Game of
was-
Thrones,
yeah,
wasn't
He
he?
was in
Thrones,
Game of
yeah.
Thrones. He was in Yesterday. He was in
Yesterday.
Bridget Jones. It was like just 1 year
didn't know he was
in
in that.
cinema where you could every film you'd go see. It was just Ed Sheeran.
He was,
just
he was
in
in
it.
another film recently. I don't know
He
what
was
it
in that
about.
Some Other Hood
Yeah,
thing recently,
some-
but then again,
Oh,
Jeremy
yeah.
Corbyn
Oh,
was
Some
in
Other Hood
that
with
as well,
Jeremy
wasn't he? So- Anyway, but yeah, scores. I don't know. I'm trying to think like films that don't fit like the. I guess the
That's the thing. They're doing quite well most of the time.
example I always think of
Black
is that.
Bad was a great example of ones where
There's
they
that,
think them well.
you know, the early 2000s Daredevil film. where
Oh,
they have-
God!
When they introduced Kingpin, and it's like the
Unbelievable. It's
daftest
actually-
like song
maybe
you've ever
the
heard.
best scene in any film ever. It's so funny.
It's so funny.
What's the song?
Wake me
It's so
up,
funny.
wake me
It's like, I'm a big dog. It's so funny.
He's
He
like
just
just a
stood
song
there.
about how cool and how bad he is.
That was a power move. Just
So
stood there.
You
the
know
best
what's
thing
funny?
that came out of that was when Cosmonaut Variety Hour did a thing about how bad that was, and then he said, "Imagine if they did that in the TV show."
Yeah.
It's the bit where Kingpin's
Slamming it
slamming the door, but it's that song playing. Like,
I've just thought of quite a few actually. Like some of them are like, well, all of them are pretty like midish tier like films. Except I've seen a couple of them, but there was an adaptation of Alone in the Dark,
like the
which
video
was
game.
just all which was just
right.
all a metal
Connell.
soundtrack, and it didn't fit. It was a shit film. Then there's Freddy vs Jason, which I'm yet to see, but that has like a metal
that
soundtrack.
does have a metal sound.
And
I think it kind of
Resident
works.
I would say
Evil
that
as
that
well,
works out.
Yeah.
because
I think-
those both have like, I'm pretty sure one of the Resident Evil films has the end of Heartache, Kill Switch Engage as like the end credits song. I'm just thinking, oh, they're killing all these zombies, and then all you hear is "Seek Me." like this proper metal score.
Yeah.
It's
And I'm
weird,
thinking,
though.
what?
I think
It's
this
kind of cool.
because, like, I think Mortal Kombat. I know you mentioned that. I think that's the perfect example where, on paper, it doesn't really feel like it should work. Like a Mortal Kombat action film with all the fight scenes backed by like a dated 90s techno soundtrack,
Yeah.
but it's such a product of 1995.
It blends in really well.
It blends in really well.
Yeah,
and it
that's
makes
the
it feel more like
yeah.
a video game, I think.
Like
'cause,
Orbital song is so out of place tonally, but like it's so
yeah,
works.
I think that's one of the only ones where it actually does feel kind of relevant because it's like the sort of emotional payoff for like the characters, and it's a great. And then it sort of in the same song then is sort of still like a celebratory ending.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it's like that song in particular is in like a load of soundtracks is sort of one of those ones I'm like, there it is again, there it is. 'Cause it's in Mean Girls as well. Whenever you watch that for that episode, it's in that.
It's a little teaser.
It's in Hackers. It's in
Another
all
little
sorts.
teaser.
But yeah, I guess there's and I mean, I was gonna mention it at some point. I guess it sort of fits here. Tangerine Dream. I mean, I don't know. They're one of those bands where it's like the music kind of they did scores, but then the like normal albums sound like film scores anyway. So like Risky Business is the main one I always think of, where that film has like a mixture of music that already done that they then worked into the film, and it works really well. And then they've also got like original compositions in that. So they've got like Love on a Real Train, which is just like it's like this sort of sprawling, layered, like early synthy electronics sort of song, but it's like it works really well in the film because it's like it's a weird thing where it's like even though the film's really tense and you know it's called Risky Business, the music's like quite oddly relaxing, and it kind of goes where it seems like it should clash, but it doesn't. It kind of like balances out all of the chaos that you're actually seeing happen on screen. It's like it's a great film.
You know what you remind me of, by the way, Connell? Do you remember Terminator Genesis? I don't know if you guys remember this. But they introduced the bit where they play bad boys out of nowhere for some bizarre reason.
That was wild, and that film is bad. Like it's I haven't seen Dark Fate yet, and people say it's worse than Genesis, but I'm yet to see that. But Genesis is just crap.
I don't really remember much from it, to be honest. I only remember the whole thing where he's like the granddad and he keeps like smiling at them and stuff, which is like
grandfather.
Hello, grandfather. Not that.
Right, and to finish off, what do we all think is the definitive film soundtrack?
Ooh.
This is another difficult one.
I would say Star Wars, mate. For me, at least, it's the definitive film soundtrack. Because even like, so like the prequels, I don't like the prequels much, but I still think the soundtrack.
The music's fantastic,
really
isn't it?
So like Death Star from you two. Then what was that?
Because the prequels are decent.
Prequels are good.
The soundtrack, like the score's really good. Like Duel of the Fates and the other ones.
The other ones.
Are you talking about Battle of the Heroes or Anakin versus Obi-Wan? Like the one from
you could be making them up, and I wouldn't know.
It's the ones from the final battle.
Yeah, in the
Avengers of
final
Sith,
battle,
yeah.
it's really
The
cool.
Mustafa sort of
Yeah.
which is like the best part of the whole trilogy, really.
Yeah,
but,
it is a shame it's at the very end.
True, but it's a good film. Anyway, I agree with you. Though,
I
Star Wars.
arguably prefer Duel of the Fates. Like as a battle.
Duel of the Fates, I
but-
think is. I know. I think it's just because you've got to sit through the Phantom Menace to get to it, you know. Whereas Revenge of the Sith's just a more like overall consistent sort of experience.
Okay.
But
Still though, the soundtracks are no matter
Fantastic,
which one, you're
yeah.
gonna find
Yeah,
a good one.
100%.
Like,
And you've got like John Williams did the prequels too, didn't he?
he
Yeah,
does.
he did
Okay,
everything.
all of
He's
them.
done all of them.
Like,
Yeah.
He's done all of them except the spin-off films.
Yeah, he.
yeah.
John Williams is maybe my favorite in terms of scores for films.
Well,
He
I
did,
was- I
done
mean,
loads.
I was going to list Superman the movie as my example.
Oh,
I think there's no feeling like when that score kicks in
Yeah.
and the titles start flying
Yeah.
towards you. It's like one of my
That's good,
favorite
actually.
sort of beginnings to any film ever.
Yeah,
And it's just so synonymous. You just can't think of Superman without thinking of that sort of theme tune, or you know, hearing the theme tune without thinking of that film. I think it's so like just swelling and heroic and it just fits everything that's happening, and
Yeah.
it's so good.
I think when it comes to definitive ones, it's mainly just down to the main themes. Like because
Yeah.
you can sort of instantly recognise them, and most of the time it's John Williams who's doing it.
Back
to the
Think of it:
Future.
Star Wars, Superman, Indiana Jones,
Jaws.
Oh my God,
Did
yeah,
he
Indiana
do Harry
Jones.
Potter as well?
He did,
Like,
yeah.
that would.
Yeah.
That all of
Jurassic
them
Park
just
as
think,
well is another
yeah.
one of my favourites. I think I really, really like the score in that. Like, that was one of the ones.
Oh yeah, Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Jurassic Park's got a lot of good themes.
I think this one's a hot take, but I think Blade Runner for me.
I've written Blade Runner down as
Yeah,
well.
to
Yeah,
see that.
Blade Runner's a great example because
I remember
Vangelis. like,
I
it's-
remember when Vangelis passed away. Like, legitimately, my heart was broken because his score meant a lot.
His
like,
score's
it's
so
beautiful.
good. Like in that film, I mean, there's quite a lot of like examples, but Tears in Rain is like, it's such a
the
nice
love
like,
theme.
it's such a great theme, isn't it? And when they bring it back, like I like Blade Runner 2049. I don't like it as much as the original. That bit towards the end where you hear that score again, I was like, oh my god, it was like so good.
I
And,
think the thing is with 2049, the score isn't as good. I feel
No,
like,
I
but like
agree.
when they reused the score from the original, it's like good.
it's like it's amazing, isn't
Yeah.
it? Which just goes to show how good the first one was. And it's another one where it's like that kind of, because it's like a cyberpunk dystopian future, the use of that sort of industrial, like
Yeah.
but optimistic synthy sort of music really complements the style. And yeah, that is a good example. What I was just thinking, we've not mentioned Ennio Morricone, the Dollars trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
That's like some of the greatest music
God.
in any film ever. I just suddenly thought of that when we're talking about when we're just talking about scores. I just suddenly
Yeah.
was like, oh, hang on a minute, yeah, because all three of those, like, and you know, all of his other music as well, but those in particular are so good.
Mm.
And you know, it's so iconic where like anybody would know
Yeah.
the music from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, whether they've seen
Yeah.
the film or not.
Mm.
A lot of people probably don't even know that music is from that film. So that, yeah, I would throw that
Yeah,
out
it's a
there.
good shout, that, actually.
Has to be mentioned.
Did he basically just do most of the Western stuff?
Pretty much, yeah.
He did do
so-
Magnificent Seven, right? Or is that someone else?
No, that was someone else. That was oh my god, who did that? That was, I want to say, Elmer Bernstein, who did Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I was.
could be
yeah,
wrong, but
that's
I think
that's
I
why I'm
think it
thinking
might
of
be
it, isn't
him,
it? Yeah. Mhm.
That's another really good one, actually. That's
Yeah.
a great theme. And yeah, I feel like the Gremlins score is really good
I'm
as well.
surprised we haven't mentioned Danny Elfman yet.
We did
Yeah,
mention
have.
Batman
Did we?
at the start, yeah.
yeah.
Well, now.
There you go. Danny
'cause-
Elfman, there's another one.
Yeah, I'd say like if like going back to Batman 1989, it's like I feel like most of the score, like it's just sort of carried off into future Batman films, and
Yeah.
even from like just like there's the little motif of hearing the first of the main theme.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can hear it in quite a lot of the other
Yeah, it's become,
scores.
it's
Yeah.
become
Like,
the
it's-
Batman theme,
yeah,
hasn't it? Yeah.
it's
It
like-
has.
And even that,
Yeah,
it's like
everywhere.
just think about it, like quite a lot of us, well, may have played Lego Batman, the
yeah,
video
just
game,
about to say,
before
Aware of
watching
the
the film, because I
generation.
definitely
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And it's like thinking, oh, that was in that. And
Yeah.
basically, majority of that soundtrack is in that. So it's
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I
one of the
thought it
reasons
was
I
good.
like the animated series as well, because it uses little stings and
Yeah.
bits
Yeah,
from the Danny
yeah.
Elfman score while still
Oh,
being
yeah.
sort of its own thing. But
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's hard to imagine Batman without that sort of music.
Yeah.
But,
it was in the awful Justice League movie too, the 2017 one.
Was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
there was
oh,
when he was
yeah.
introduced, you can hear da 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 da.
That is cool. I
it's
do
like-
love it when films do that, when they carry over.
yeah, when the
Mhm.
carryover.
So, like
sort of-
not always films, like Daredevil Born Again does it at one point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It brings back that original score,
the sort of music
which
from
isn't as not as iconic as say the Batman theme, Spider-Man theme, but it's still there. You know, it's
Totally.
still great.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, I like that.
Well, I think we've come to the end of our musical journey. We've discussed our favourite soundtracks and what we consider to be the most iconic ones too. But now we'll pose the question to you, the audience. What are some of your favourite soundtracks? We'd love to hear from you.
To get in touch with us, just email us at cineclub.podcast@sparksunderland.com. We love to hear what you think.
You can also get in touch with us at the .cineclub.podcast _spark on Instagram and on TikTok. It's a good way to keep an eye on all of the Cine Club podcast developments.
As always, this episode was recorded and produced by us, the Sunderland University students, as well as being edited by Emily Main. Special thanks goes out to Steve Cannon, Barbara Sadler and Richard Berry. A friendly reminder that our 4 musical maestros behind the microphones this week consist of me, Connell.
Me, Matthew.
Me, Dion.
And me, Jake.
This has been a Cine Club production for Spark. Thanks for listening.